What's up, YouTube? It's the JAY man here, and I'm back on another beer review. I thought you knew. And today, I got a special guest that's hanging out with me, that's going to drink a beer with me. We're hanging out with the lovely Carissa.
Sup?
There we go. Today, we are going to be doing a revisitation because I've reviewed this one before. We are going to be taking a look at Bud Ice. So let me go ahead and get this bad boy poured up. We're going to get into the research. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see what it's all about. And we're going to see what it's going to rank on a 5-star ranking.
I feel like I should mention that I don't like a lot of beer.
Yeah.
So.
But
that.
She has recently figured out that Bud Ice is a good beer for her.
Yes. For me.
You have figured that out.
At least that's how I remember it. We'll see if that's how I still feel about it.
Because you did discover that. You discovered that the Bud Ice treats you well.
Yeah, it's all right.
So you got to be all into that. Let's go ahead and top them off. We're gonna let the head. We're gonna do kind of a little hard pour. Let the head dissipate. We got a little bit of thick head on there. We're gonna let it dissipate. We're gonna let it go. Bud Ice. It is ice brewed beer. It is a product by the Anheuser-Busch Company out of Missouri. That's going to come out of the US of A. Introduced in 1994. And it was originally introduced as Ice by Budweiser. And it did end up getting a name change somewhere between 94 and I want to say 95, 96. That came into just being Bud Ice. It is an American adjunct lager that does carry a 5.5% ABV. And I want to say that's across the board. That's not going to be state wise. I wanted to say back in the day, you used to be able to find them at 5.9, but I probably might be mistaken.
5.5%.
It's 5.5, yeah.
Nice.
I used to think that it was 5.9. Nice. I want to say back in the day, maybe 20 years ago, I've seen some 5.9, but sometimes with beers they change the ABV, just on state regulation.
That's interesting.
But maybe it's always been 5.5. I don't know. But this particular beer, it is ice brewed beer, and it's brewed with water, barley, cereal grains, and hops. Which should be light on the hops because it is an American adjunct lager. And the high ABV, which always comes with all ice brewed beers, is because of the ice brew process. And you could always check out the ice brew process online yourself because I'm not too educated on that.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, you definitely got to check that one out. I previously reviewed this 6 years ago, and I gave it a 1 out of 5 stars.
Ouch.
I did. I gave it a 1 out of 5.
So of course that's the one I like.
But I feel like maybe I was being biased.
All right.
Maybe there was a little bit of bias there because I started off drinking beer with Bud Ice. That was my beer of choice back in the day when I was 21 years of age. I started off with this, and I don't know if maybe my palate changed throughout the years because I did get into drinking the light beer. But
self-esteem or something.
But maybe it'll be different today. Maybe I'll say, you know, I'm going to raise it a little bit. I'll raise the bar and say, hey, it's gained a little bit with me.
All right. I'll feel a little vindicated if you do.
And this beer was, like I said, it was introduced in 1994 during the ice beer craze of the 90s. Because that's when everybody started putting out ice beer. I mean, you had Keystone putting out Keystone Ice, which has been discontinued. You've had Milwaukee's Best Ice. You've had Natural Ice. There was Ice House. There were so many ice brewed beers coming out in the 90s, and it became a craze, and people were buying it like crazy. It was making tons of money. Now, Beer Advocate, which we all know is a pretty substantial beer website, did give it a score of 48, which they consider awful. They consider it an awful tasting beer.
Okay.
But I don't always go with them because I love a lot of light lagers that they've considered to be awful and given awful scores to as well. So, kind of getting a little bit of look at it. That head did dissipate. It had some thick head on it. Tad bit of lacing on the glass here. The smell. What are you getting off that smell?
A little bit sweet.
Definitely sweet.
Yeah.
It's definitely got sweet malty, I think, sweet malt grain, and I think that's going to go a lot with the ice brew beers. They always got the sweetness. Mm-hmm. Some people will say too much sweetness.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to take a taste. You already diving in?
I mean, do I like it? It's not great, but it's drinkable, which is more I can say of a lot of beers.
Okay.
To me.
I'm familiar with this beer.
It definitely has like a grainy kind of aftertaste. Maybe.
It's thick. It's bready.
Is it?
It's bready.
Okay. I can see
definitely that. Grainy. You can definitely taste the corn. You can definitely taste the barley malt, which is normal, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be normal. I don't get a lot of bitterness with Bud Ice. I don't get a lot of bitterness with the ice brewed beers.
Right, and I'm not a fan of the bitter. So.
But they are low on the IBUs with the hops, so that's to be expected.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is okay.
It's rich.
Is it rich?
Is the Christmas? Is it crisp?
I think crisp. I would describe it as crisp.
Yeah.
It's crispy.
Well, seeing a lot of people on Beer Advocate talk about the kind of the high dose of crisp with it.
Yeah.
It's
it has
bready.
A little bit, to me, it has a little bit of the taste of like an apple cider. And I don't know what I'm picking up from that I'm getting that from. Maybe it's just the sweetness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of sweetness to the ice brewed beers. And I think that's why a lot of people that, tend to go towards the IPA way as opposed to the American adjunct lagers is because they prefer the bitter to the sweet. So, but I think that, and like I said, it has a huge malt overtone, which kind of goes with any kind of malt liquor because there's always going to be that sweetness there.
Well, it's not bad, and the more I drink it, the less bad it gets. So,
well, if I keep drinking it, the more you drink, the better it tastes, right? That's kind of where you're at with that.
Yeah.
But the more you drink, the better it tastes.
Yeah.
And like I said, when it comes to the whole brewing process of the ice brewed beers, because I'm not too educated on it, but I do know that it is ice brewed, and I know that they scrape a lot of stuff off the top of it, and that's how you get that
Huh.
They get that. That's how you get that high ABV in there.
Scrape stuff off the
Because
top.
most lagers are like around like the early, 4.1, 4.2 ABV, and these usually sometimes range to like the 5.5 to 6, especially like with the damn what is it, the high gravity, the steel reserve, which goes into like 8%,
So basically,
which
you have
has
to.
an extreme sweet taste.
I should try that. So you don't have to drink as much of it for it to taste better.
You're right, exactly.
That's
Less
the point of that.
less volume, less volume. Let me pour me just a, that one's already empty. Let me go ahead and.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't like a lot of beer, so I'm kind of on a journey to figure out what kind of beers I can handle.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a lot of taste.
And I did start off on the ice brewed beer. I did start off on the Bud Ice.
Well, what do you think
Used
of
to
it?
think it was great, but after my whole transition into light lager, you kind of lose the taste. I think that you get so used to light lager where there's not so much sweetness, there's not so much like a sweet malt overtone, and then when you go back to this, it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
not a fan, huh? Are you sticking with the one?
I don't know. I mean, because I did review Natural Ice a few months back,
Yeah.
and I was, let's say, I'm not so much a fan, but I thought it was decent, and I thought it was okay. I want to say I could put it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe my palate kind of goes back and forth, judging by how strong or how sweet I might want my beer. But I want to say, well, what are you going to say out of 5? Out of 5 stars, 1 or say 0 being the worst, 5 being the absolute best. Where are you going to throw it in that category?
Well, I'm holding out 5 for if there's something else that I actually really like.
Right.
But I don't know, as far as, and I haven't had much experience with beers. So as far as beers go that I have tried, I would say it's a 4.
Okay. 4 out of 5. You're throwing it 4 out of 5.
I think so. I mean, I don't, like I said, my experience is limited, so.
Okay. 4 out of 5 will probably be fair then.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Since I have spent a lot of years kind of on the board of the American adjunct lagers, being the light lagers, I'd be willing to give it one more point, and maybe I'll go 2 out of 5 on it.
Nice.
I'll go
All
2.
right.
I'll go 2 out of 5. I'll go 2 out of 5 because it's not a beer that I'm gonna buy. It's not gonna be a go-to.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a go-to, but I'll give it 2 out of 5. It's not horrible. It's not like, oh, it's so bad. It ain't Steel Reserve. So you gotta try that one, by the way.
Oh boy. Okay. Like I said, I'm on a journey.
So I'm rocking 2 out of 5. You're rocking 4 out of 5. Bud Ice, originally called Ice by Budweiser. I keep wanting to say Budweiser. Budweiser.
You maybe had too much.
That could
Not
be a
yet.
possibility. But with that being said, we're going to wrap up this beer review. We're probably going to drink a few more brews. And as always, have a happy Friday. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment. What beer would you like me to try next? And as always, it's a cheers. Let's hit the cheers.
Oh, cheers.
I'm empty. Cheers. Peace out.